welcome to the 6th episode of What You Gonna Watch. And today we're reviewing one of my favorite shows, The Good Place. And man, dude, this show is awesome. As you know, I highly recommend it. One of, other than The Legends of Tomorrow, my most recommended show is like an amazing show. And you know what? They did add a new season, which I've already seen. It has 4 seasons now. I can't remember when the 4th season came out, but yeah, it was awesome. So yeah, anyways, that's your show recommend, and also the show that we are reviewing today. And you want to know, you want some proof that I love this show? So, my Google theme, when I go to a new tab, it is the Good Place theme, which has sometimes the characters of the show sitting down on the couch, like the cover, and sometimes it has just like 3 people at a time, and it also has like quotes that the characters say. It is just awesome, dude. It's really cool. So yeah, let's start with the description, and then we'll go into the rating. So the description. I don't know if this is a correct description. Oh, yeah, here it is. Okay, sorry, we found it. When Eleanor Shellstrop finds herself in the afterlife, she's both relieved and surprised that she's made it to the good place. But it doesn't take long for Eleanor to realize she's there by mistake. She hides in plain sight from the good place architect, Michael, and his all-knowing assistant, Janet. Her seemingly perfect neighbors, Tahani and Jason, and open-hearted soulmate, Chidi, help her realize that it's never too late to change. With the help of her new friends and a few enemies, Eleanor becomes determined to shed her old way of life in hopes of discovering a new one in the afterlife. Yeah, it's a great show. So, yeah. I already gave you a rating, 10 out of 10. Definitely give it a 10 out of 10 because it's just an amazing show, and it's really funny, especially Eleanor and Chidi, and when with his stomach aches, and Jason, they're all funny in a lot of ways. So yeah. Anyways, the next thing to talk about, since we did the rating and the description, is trying to remember. I'm not quite sure what's next, so I guess we'll just talk a little bit. So, something, in the end, the last episode in season 4 is called Whenever You're Ready, which, as you know, Michael, I don't know if you know because I don't know if you've seen it, but Michael is a good place architect, or he's a bad place architect, but then by the end of it, he becomes a good place architect. So yeah, which he designed the neighborhood to make people think that they're in the good place, but really they're in the bad place. And it's a test experiment which they used the 4 characters, Eleanor, Chidi, Tahani, and Jason, to like make each other suffer, but it doesn't work out, and they end up like working as a group, and Eleanor, tries to become better, and Jason does ish, I guess. So yeah, and Chidi helps them with that, and the experiment didn't go as planned because there ended up being something where he had to retire, and he wasn't expecting Eleanor to come to confront him and saying that she doesn't belong there, but she did. And yeah, and then eventually they had to pick like 2 people or something like that to go to the bad place because there's a fake Eleanor and a real Eleanor, and then they got all mixed up. Of course, the real Eleanor was just an actor from the bad place. So yeah, anyways, and they had to switch them, and so yeah, I just accidentally took a screenshot, but that's okay. Anyways, as I was saying, I know I have a loss of words. I do, but I don't. Anyways, continuing on with what I was saying about having to pick 2 people to go into the bad place, that's whenever Eleanor realized that they were in the bad place instead of the good place, and so Michael had to snap his fingers, and then he reset everyone's memories, and then that didn't, the second time, every time every time Eleanor figured it out, except for a few times. I think Jason figured it out. I can't remember if Tahani did. I think Chidi might have once. I think pretty much almost like just about everyone figured it out. So, yeah. And then, the real bad place people come, and, the real place people come, and then Michael and, the team, which at the moment they were called the Roaches, Cockroaches, something like that, because, like, they never die or something like that. I don't know. I can't remember why. So, yeah, they form an alliance, and then by the end of it, they become good friends, and when it's time for them to go to the real bad place, before they go, Michael gives a speech, and he insults them all, and in there he leaves clues of how not to get captured, which no one detects except for, Eleanor, I think. I can't remember. So yeah, and then they all decide to say what the clue says. Well, at first they think they can't trust him, and then one of them figures out that, I think it was Eleanor figures out that what he was saying were clues in the speech, and then they end up hiding under the train whenever it goes to find them. And then yeah, but they ended up going to the real good place, and Michael gets tricked. Just about the first thing that happens there is that Michael gets tricked into becoming the good place architect, the architect for there. And what they do is they build everyone is like dead. They wanted stuff, and they had it, but then they eventually get bored of it, and they've done like everything there is to do in there. So yeah, they're all gloomy and all that, and what they do is they build a door that whenever you feel like you've completed everything successful in your life and you're happy with it, you can walk through the door, and what the door does is like you become part of something. I don't know, like I don't know how to explain it. You just like disintegrate basically, but like in a good way, and you like rise up. So yeah, out of the whole gang, Jason was the first to go. Sort of, but sort of not. He was the first one to be ready, and he made a necklace for Janet, because, them two got married a few times, and they dated a few times, something like that. I don't know, I can't remember. But yeah, he made a necklace for Janet, but he couldn't find it at the moment whenever he went there, so he hid behind a tree until Janet came back again, and they gave it to her, and then he walked through the door. And then Tahani was ready to go, but instead of going through the door, she wanted to become a good place architect, and so she did. And then it was Chidi, which, Eleanor was very sad about that. Michael wanted to go as well, but he couldn't because he wasn't human, so they made Michael human. And Janet was the only one who was left standing, because, Michael became, Janet was the only one who didn't walk through the door, or become human, or become a good architect. She was like, you know what I mean. I'm just kidding. So yeah, that is pretty much basically what happened. I probably left out a few details, but that's okay, because you should go watch it on your own, because it's a great show, and it's only 4 seasons, so why not? So yeah, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the podcast. If you haven't seen The Good Place, I highly, highly, highly recommend it. So yeah, bye-bye everyone, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye-bye now.